should. Just quickly, because we're arguing about how far Liverpool have dropped, and one of the arguments is, and I am the one who's brought it up, I'm saying, look, people keep highlighting how great Van Dijk is. Oh, he's the greatest Premier League defender I've ever seen. That's Michael Owen. Said that on the Premier League show. Oh, he's one of the greatest of all time. So how big great he is. And I'm like, he is good. He could even ask for the name great, but I don't think he's anywhere near the all-time greatest defender ever, even at his highest peak. He's certainly not in my top 5 of the best Premier League defenders I have seen. And I'm just talking Premier League defenders. I'm not even going into beyond 1992. I'm not going to 1989 and 87 to things I used to read then. I'm not going to Alan Hansen and Alan Kennedy. No, I'm just saying the ones I have at least watched a bit of. He doesn't make my top 5 at all. I actually can go ahead and say he would struggle to get into my top 10. Okay? And when I said that, Starboy is up in arms. So it's a weird conversation. I'm not sure we should be having it, but
Chelsea fans forgive us.
But you named 10 players who are better.
Yeah, so the question is, where do people rank Virgil van Dijk, Liverpool people? And I know there's a difference in generations, okay? This is like the NBA all over again. Yeah. The younger generation think LeBron is the greatest thing since sliced bread. The generation before them think it was Kobe Bryant. My generation knows it is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. And there's a generation before us who say, it's Bill Russell. And before you get to Bill Russell, you got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Yes. So it seems like a generational thing. But there are times there is what we call a universally accepted thing. So for example, let's start simple. Is he in the top 5 of all-time great Premier League defenders? I don't think so. I can't put Van Dijk in the top 5 of the all-time Premier League defenders of the Premier League. That's from 92 to 2023, March the 12th. I can't put him there. I don't think he fits there. I think I've got 5 defenders who are ultimately better than Van Dijk. And if anyone wants me to say the names, Rio Ferdinand, John Terry, Nemanja Vidic, Vincent Kompany. Okay?
Yes.
Sol Campbell. And if I want to go further down, I can add a few. Was he better than Tony Adams? He's not fit to tie Tony Adams' boots. Sorry. Is he better than Tony Adams? I don't think so. Is he better than Ledley King? No. Ledley King at his prime? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay? I am at like 7.
What are you
I think, as you said, maybe it's the generational thing. So maybe probably fans who probably started watching Liverpool at the Klopp era, when Klopp came in and brought in Van Dijk. That's what you have seen. You've seen that. You've not seen others. But as you said, I'm a Liverpool fan. Yes, I agree. When we brought in Van Dijk, he lifted that team. He made his mark in that team. But the moment he's a good defender, personally, is not as Jemo said. You can't. These days, by the way, we tend to put the GOAT thing, greatest of all time. We tend to throw those words around, and we do easily instead of looking at it. Because personally, what defines a defender? One, I think, for me, is longevity. That's one of the attributes. Maybe leadership as well. So Van Dijk has that. He has the leadership. The way his football is different, as you said. The way he defends, he doesn't necessarily have to tackle. He just pushes players to that position where they're very ineffective. He's more intelligent, and as well as his kicks from the back to the attack. I think he's one of the best. But we can't keep saying that he's the greatest.
The thing is, for me,
yes,
he's good. He's not great.
The first 5 players Jemo has mentioned, I do agree. Maybe because he won't enter into that
the top 5. Yeah,
and there's a reason why I agree with that, because if you look at the players you have mentioned, these are players who played for great sides and won titles. All right, not one, not twice, and it's also because of
just a clarification. I didn't pick them because of their titles.
Yeah, I do.
I'm just saying, just pure ability.
Pure ability.
Yeah.
Now, for me, when it comes to pure ability, the reason why I love Van Dijk is because there are 2 types of players. There are reactive players and there are proactive players. And for you to be a proactive player, you have to be really intelligent. And the reason why Van Dijk is regarded as one of the greatest, is because rarely will you ever see Van Dijk tackle. Rarely do you ever see players dribble past Van Dijk.
That was a very nice theory until last season. Last season and this season.
Everybody's dribbling.
That meme of him with his bum up in the air. That was a very nice theory for the first 2
Even
years.
yesterday against Bournemouth.
Yeah.
The way he was fumbling with those players. Akahag. I don't know, he was hugging who they fell down.
And yesterday,
Stop.
yesterday I saw it. Yesterday, Dango or Ouattara dribble past him.
Yeah.
And
I don't think that's a criteria for a great defender is dribbling past. It doesn't. No. Statistics gani yo.
Sijamaliza bado.
Start department.
Sijamaliza
Aya,
bado.
now get to your point. You see now she's already tired. She's like, what is this statistic? It's no statistics
Well,
of
if you're
XG,
a
possible. Yeah.
If you're a
it's something
defender,
all
your
over
work
again.
is to defend, is to make sure that to prevent the ball.
Aya,
Get
no,
into
get-
the box.
okay, get to
And
your
he-
point now.
And he has
Aya.
been doing that
Now-
terrifically
now
well.
get to your
Apart
point.
from that injury, knee injury, we know how bad a knee injury can
Yeah.
be because recovering, because he was out for 9 months. Akarudi,
but-
akawasaidia.
Teddy,
Right now,
let's get
the
into.
whole
You
Liverpool
have
team-
agreed. You've agreed he's not in the top 5.
He's not in the top 5.
Aya, thank you. Now you're pushing for him to be in the top 10. Just say that.
Of course.
Oh, so Teddy, Elijah thinks he's in the top 10.
A strong 6.
Number 6, and that means he's ahead of. That means he's ahead of
King.
Tony Adams,
Shida
and
ni
he's
hapo
ahead of
ukianza
Yap
Top
Stam,
10 yako
and
ni
he's
gani?
He's
ahead
ahead
of
of Yap Stam,
He's
but
not.
not ahead of Tony Adams. Let me say second.
he's ahead of Yap Stam.
Ahead
When
of
did
Yap
you
Stam.
start watching football?
Saba.
Ahead of Yap Stam.
La 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 la. Teddy, do you listen to this thing? Do you? Where is he?
Maybe 11 hapo akijaribu sana.
Nyinyi mnataka watu wanataka
I actually
you want a
would,
defender who tackles.
I actually would
Maldini
go,
said
I do.
once a defender tackles, he has already made a mistake. And I prescribe to that football.
I actually would go a step further and say, if you ask me the greatest Liverpool defender I've seen, and this could be wrong, by the way, I most probably am wrong. The best Liverpool defender I have seen in this Liverpool new generation, 92 to now, for me was Sam Hipia.
Hipia.
For me, he was brilliant, and he was a cheap buy. He was from Finland, but he just had that thing about him. But then again, I like dysfunctional teams, and that whole Liverpool team of that generation was full of random people.
Yeah.
So I could be very wrong in that one. So I cannot put hand on a Bible and say, yes, I would put Van Dijk, I would put Hipia ahead of him. But for me, I just like, because Hipia was one of the classic guys in that team. The team that won the Champions League in 05.
Yeah.
It had a bit of class, but it also had a lot of
had
guys. You know, it had Jimmy Traore and Steve Finnan and Jazzy Dudek, and it has the big guy, the Igor Biscan, and it had the forward with the 5, Milan Baros.
Baros,
You know, it had random guys, Jibril Cisse. It had a lot of random people, but it had quality, and some of the quality was Sami Hipia in defense. Xabi Alonso was in that
Alonso
team,
and Gerrard.
Steven Gerrard. So it
Yeah.
had a spine of really quality, but a lot of it was. You know, it's
Yeah.
guys tu wase tu walishikanisho tu na wakachina Champions League. But I don't think for me top 5 is not there, not a doubt. Like I said, there is 5 better defenders.
What if Liverpool won the last 2 trophies?
Like I said, I have not. If I said that, I wouldn't put Ledley King anywhere near it because Ledley King barely won anything.
Yeah.
But for example, the reason why I put Ledley King and I rate him so highly is because of one man only. His name is Thierry Henry. And when he was asked, he said, "Hey boss, yeah. That guy, when he was on the game, you knew there's a player. This is a defender who couldn't train during the week because he had a problem with his knee. That meant he used to do the gym work, then Saturday he shows up and plays. Gym work, Saturday he shows up and plays. And he was, and if Thierry Henry stands up and says, "Hey, that guy was good," I'm like, okay. Yeah, I take Titi's word. It's the reason why when they put that poster where they ask, who's the greatest midfielder? Then they put Scholes and Gerrard and Lampard. That's why I always pick Scholes. Because of what Xavi said, what Zidane said, what Henry said. I'm like, yeah, I think I know football, but these guys know football more than me. Okay. So it's the same kind of argument. But
Should we look for what Henry said about Van Dijk?
no, like I said, it's just one of the qualities. It can't be. It's not the only reason I do it. Like, again, the beauty of having God gave you the ability to think and rationalize. So at times and part of what they say adds to what I think. Now, the reason why Van Dijk is so popular is because he's got everything. He's tall, he's got a six-pack, he's got a ponytail. And I'm borrowing from Troy Deeney.
Easy on the
He
eye.
looks like he has everything. So he looks like he's so easy and relaxed. He's likable. You know, he's got everything working for him. So people like him. It's the exact opposite of Harry Maguire. People don't like Maguire simply because Maguire is not as bad as people say he is, but Maguire is just not easy on the eye. He's 100 kilos. His nickname is the fridge. If he's not playing football, he's out there fighting policemen in Greece. He's not likable. Now Van Dijk is the opposite, and I'm not the one who said that. That was Troy Deeney. Said everything about him is nice. But I think at times that shapes how we feel. That's why there are some players who
Perception.
that's why there are some players who we let pass. We give a pass all the time, and there are some who we don't. Okay, like there are players who we criticize for everything, and there are some players who we just let go by because they are likable and they are nice. Okay, again, unfortunately, the example that comes to my mind automatically is basketball, because I watch a lot of basketball. Steph Curry can get away with a lot of things. Okay, yeah, just because he's likable and he's small and but the other guys, in one small thing, they're on your case. Small thing, they're on your case. It's the same kind of thing with Maguire. Maguire, all he has to do is breathe. And people have a fight with him.
But you guys,
Van Dijk, you see those statistics? No one has ever dribbled past him.
Yeah,
No one has-
those-
like we
about
keep
the
finding,
2019 PFA player.
we keep finding,
No, I
we keep
agree with what
finding
you said.
examples and reasons why he's nice.
He's a good defender,
never-
but the moment you start using the word
good.
greatest of all time, best of all time, when you
I have
start
not
doing
mentioned
that, it doesn't do that.
I have not mentioned
Person,
that.
even the Ballon d'Or, personally, I thought that Ballon d'Or was his. The one
And
when
we're
he won the Champions League and then won the
and this
Premier
is-
League.
and-
I thought he deserved that, but as we said last time, Ballon d'Or, it's more of
It's a marketing
it's
thing.
a marketing
Sour.
thing, and then attackers tend to get it more
Yeah,
than
but let's
defenders.
let's
blah,
not
blah.
forget for a
Yeah,
centre
but-
back, for a centre back to be recognized for that particular award, you have.
He's
Can I-
good. He
can-
has
can-
the ability,
can
but
really
he's not
good.
the
But
goat and
guys,
not the.
let's
The
throw
problem
this
is-
conversation to Twitter. Do you think Van Dijk? Where does Van Dijk rank in your list of all time? You can do your all time in the EPL. I wouldn't even want to do world. World I wouldn't do because I'd have him at number 25.
Yeah, we're
So,
just talking about the
let's
EPL.
just do the
EPL,
EPL
yeah.
because the world he's in number 30.
99 mgongoni.
Yeah, but just in the EPL, where do you rank Van Dijk? And this is a very random conversation. It came from something we were discussing off air. We got into on air. Where do you rank him? Is he the greatest you've ever watched? Is he one of the greatest? If he's not, who is your greatest? Yes, when we come back, I promise we talk about Graham Potter and the fact that he has 3 wins on the bounce and the fact that all his haters are having to sit in a corner
Yes.
and find something else to say.